always organizes that for our Brevard business professionals. So we will obviously do that again, but we also wanted to have some fun before we start the luncheon, because really most people end up coming around 11 o'clock, so they have a whole hour to network. So we thought that was important to be able to kind of make it as normal as possible, or as normal as this can be in this time. Obviously, it's the new normal is quite different. So I wanted to share, though, you know, I always come up with, it's not really this time a fun fact. Let me see if it's going to move across. Oh, there we go. Is that you doing that, or is that me?
You.
That's me? Oh, okay. Yay. Woohoo. So if you guys are wondering about what's going on in Brevard County, the Florida Chamber of Commerce is absolutely unbelievable. So they have these metrics that you can use. It's great for your companies even to look at what's going on here in our county. So these are from yesterday, and it showed 346 cases from the beginning, and the red is showing that it's increasing. However, the percentage of positive cases at 3.3% is decreasing. So that's kind of a good number to see. Unfortunately, there's been 56 cases confirmed since it started, and I think the number of deaths is at 9. So very sad to have 9 deaths in our community. But when you look at the overall state of Florida and different counties, we're doing fairly well through this, I think, because we social distance fairly early. Although I think in our groups we kept talking about being uncomfortable with people not social distancing right now, and that's a bit of a concern. So this is the second slide with the metrics. So it's showing the rate of unemployment. On Friday is when the new numbers come out. So this is really March numbers, and we'll see April's, and that, as it shows, is increasing. It's going to be quite large, I think, unfortunately. And these numbers show the poverty rate as better. I think that is probably, unfortunately, going to be going on the downward trend. The job years change over, or last year, I think, will also be decreasing. Looking at this permits, the 2149 and declining, the housing market is always an indicator of how we're doing. So that's obviously a big concern as well. I also got a survey just this morning, so I apologize, I'm having to look sideways at this, but this was the one where the city of Palm Bay sent out a survey, and they had quite a few responses. And they said that one of the biggest challenges for returning to business was retaining customers. And they were worried about the clarity on state guidelines for how to operate under COVID. And then their third biggest concern was their liquidity and cash flow. And I think we can understand that as small businesses, that's probably one of you know, our biggest concerns, especially if you didn't have a reserve going into this. They said 55% of businesses require clear guidelines for safe operating practices to keep workers and customers safe through testing. They were worried about testing and PPE and social distancing and sanitizing practices. If you go to our, I think it's both on our Facebook page and our website, and it'll also be at the end of our program here, we used a guide that Tuscaloosa put together, and I thought it was fabulous. I mean, literally, I've been mentioning it before, they even show you how to make masks at home. But they talk about sanitizing, they talk about how to open for every major industry. So whether you're a beauty salon or a doctor's office or dentist, it kind of gives you guidelines of really protocols that they've pulled out from the CDC. So click on that and you can look at the different categories, and just, it's really very, very helpful. And as we get more information, we continue to post that on our Facebook page and on our website. So hopefully businesses will look at that before just willy-nilly opening up their doors. Also, the US Chamber of Commerce has a clickable form that you can put on the outside of your door that you can fill in whether you sanitized, whether you've deep cleaned, what you're doing to keep people safe, whether you're social distancing. So that's fillable, and you make it personal to your business, and you can post that. And then Beverly from Homestead Seniors was also sharing that they have a lot of already pre-made forms about social distancing, about you know, keeping safe and stuff that's pre-printed that you can get from them. So we'll put Homestead Senior Care into our Facebook page and on our sites and that, so that you can access their information, because if they already have it printed, it saves you a lot of money, and it's nice to have these guides so that people are able to know what you're doing to keep them safe. They said that the top 3 practices Palm Bay businesses should embrace, and this was nearly 80% of the respondents said virtual interaction and remote working. So I think some businesses are thinking that if you can still remote work, that's an important thing to do. Social distancing and flexible work hours are both important, are all important. And then the ability to secure state or federal funding, the PPP and the EDIL, 29% or only 22% had secured funding. Still waiting on PPP was 40% of the respondents, which is huge. Or the EDIL, that was almost 30%. We're still waiting on that. And 50% had not applied. So businesses also found support. So the top 5, other was one category, and that was 22%. Financial partners, who were 21%. We're thrilled to see the chamber was 18% of where businesses were finding support. The SBA partners was at 17%, and local government 14%. So I think it also shows how essential chambers are. I think that we are putting out fact, and we are making sure that the information that you're getting is factual. We are really trying to provide as many resources as we can. So I'm glad to see that our local businesses are reaching out to the chamber. A very big concern was that 27% of the businesses will dissolve in 2 to 4 weeks if they can't reopen. So hopefully now that things have started to ease a bit, that number will come down. And almost 30% of the businesses were not currently closed that took the survey. So that's positive. I think we have to look at, you know, some of the positive things that we do see. So once again, this is the metrics for Brevard County. I think we're in a much better state than most counties are. So that's a nice thing to see. And they update this every single day. And if you're able to get on Friday's webinar that the Florida Chamber does, they have an economist, and he is the only economist for any chamber of commerce. So all the state chamber of commerce, only the state of Florida has their own economist on staff. So, you know, you're getting great information, and Governor DeSantis' office has reached out to the Florida Chamber. So we definitely make sure that we are following what they are doing. So that's kind of neat. So moving along, I think slowly. Hold on, one more. Oh, there we go. This is like, all right. So we have our Pledge of Allegiance, and I don't know if you've seen those. Okay. Oh no, I went too fast. Okay, let me click back one. You've seen the little children that do the pledge every day in some of the neighborhoods where the whole neighborhood comes out and does the Pledge of Allegiance. They started doing it when they were taking their garbage cans out, which I thought was really cool. So, okay, it's not going back, and we kind of need a flag. Oh, there we go. There, slow. Okay. So, well, we'll just have to do it from where you are right now. So I will have to lead you guys along. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, kind of weird not to hear everybody, but okay. So, and I need the hoorah from Rob Medina. Just have that go through your mind, and so it's like normal chamber luncheon. All right, so now we have, if you can check in, so while I'm gabbing away here, I know you guys are probably doing 95 other things. If you want to check in for lunch, that's always great. Share it on Facebook, and you can go to the chamber page to check in. And if you want to take pictures, feel free to share. And thank you. Yeah, if you want to be in the chat room, we'll make sure that we check in and see everybody saying hi. So that's kind of cool. And yes, we can share the Beverly's information, because I think her form was great. And we'll also share the US Chambers, so you can click on that to be able to customize your form. So we'll make sure we get all that information attached to this. So our board of directors, for those of you that don't know our entire board, because sometimes they don't all, they're not all able to make it, but Adam Copenhaver from Linkio, we have Elfrida Wooten with FPL, Beverly Wiggins with Home Instead Senior Care, Chelsea Camaro, 5-Star Claims Adjusting, David Alpazar Law. We have David Pett with Health First Health Plans, Dominic Paz with Morse.com now, Amy Windle, Aloha Maintenance, George Galetko is Waste Management, Holly Tanner is LH Tanner Construction. We have Jessica Moore, 142 Productions, Keith G, the Children's Hunger Project, but now he's Brevard Achievement Center. Rob Salonen, Florida Tech, Sarah Levante is EDC, Shelley Kuhn with ASAP Pest Solutions, and our chairwoman, Tracy Stoddard, everythingbrevard.com. We have a number of ambassadors, and I really want to do a shout out to our ambassadors because they have been calling members. I hope people have received some calls just to check in and say hi and find out how we can help you. Christine Walker with Blank Canvas Decor and More. We have Deidre Beecham with Bold Breakthroughs, Deb Jansen, LF Staffing, Diane Bryson with True Choice Technologies, Ginger Aiello, our BRG Air Systems, Greg Quinones with Linkio, Heather Casbara with Mother's Touch Movers, Janice Fox with Spotlight Magazine, Jennifer Helen with Seniors Helping Seniors, Ken Stamp with Hometown News. We have Mark Gallegos with Quan G, Joe Roulette with Florida Healthcare. I have Jennifer Valier with Thrivent Financial and Tara Linnell with Tara's Animal Care. So thank you all. I got actually very nice spreadsheets with comments people made. So that was really very nice. Oh, Christine Walker, she just joined. Yes, I want to thank all our, just said your name as our ambassador. So thank you. So our trustees now, and I know this takes a while to shuffle across. So it's, yeah, maybe not. If I click it again, it's going to go past. Our Emerald trustee is the city of Palm Bay. Our gold trustees are waste. Oh, there we go. Look at how slow that is. Our gold trustees, there we go. Waste Management, our Health First Health Plans, and Palm Bay Air and Heat. Our silver trustee partners, we have West Melbourne, Florida Tech, FPL, L3 Harris, BRG Air Systems, and Riverview Senior Resort Living. And then our bronze trustees, and we've had a number of new ones join us. You can see there, we've got quite a few now. Sam's Club, Jag Financial, Bass Pro, Print Depot, Edward Jones, Yellow Dog, ASAP Pest Solutions, Brevard Public Schools, LH Tanner Construction, Adams Home, Michael Gregg Search, Home to Suites and Hyatt Place, Linkio, Publix, Promise and Brevard, Sandy Mickelson, Victoria Landing, Buena Vita Estates, TD Bank, Orlando Melbourne International Airport, and our newest ones, Florida Healthcare Plans. We have Morsecom, and we have Tank Wizards. So thank you, Joe. I know you're on the call with us. So we appreciate all those new trustees that have come onto the chamber team. And then our media partners, and we have a few new ones there as well. So Digital Ink, so we are having a new brochure getting printed and a new application form. So Jessica's busy working on that. We have Everything Brevard, our hometown news, Saving Safari, 142 Productions, Space Coast Magazine, Senior Scene Magazine, and our newest ones, via Voice. It's Blue Water Creative Group, so they've got a number of different magazines, and then Brevard Business News. So we thank Adrian for becoming part of our wonderful Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce. And then we have some new members and trustees. So Brevard Business News with Adrian Roth, our Blue Water Creative Group with Jill Gaines. Edward Jones with Kevin Chancellor has stepped up to a trustee. There's our Florida Healthcare Plans, Joe Roulette, and they've stepped up to be a trustee. We have Hibiscus Court Assisted Living. Morse Communications have stepped up to be a trustee, or our Orlando Melbourne International Airport has stepped up to be a trustee. Serene Harbor is one of our newest members, and Tank Wizards is our newest member and trustee. So we appreciate them. And then renewing members, we have 142 Productions, the City of Palm Bay, Karen Financial, LH Tanner Construction, Paul Davis Restoration, Sybil's Relaxation Station, TD Bank on Babcock Street, and Waste Management. So we still have the referral program. So if you provide a lead, we'll do chamber bucks. So instead of saying, well, we'll give you a lunch, then we'll give you chamber bucks, and you can use it towards your renewing your membership or coming on one of our virtual trainings, or if you want to use it for advertising. It's kind of neat that, you know, we're able to give you the opportunity of how you want to use your chamber bucks. So yeah, we're still looking for new members, so thank you all. And I'm sure we have to do some updates with some of the people that we have as our contact people, because I noticed two need to be changed, so we'll get that fixed. Our keynote speaker, though, I know that you were all on here for her. So this was very last minute, and I'm so thrilled that Kathy was able to step up and join us today, because she's just phenomenal. I want to do a shout out because Kathy and her partner Michelle Burke are helping the chamber go through our pivots, as I know everybody's talking about pivoting, but we really are looking at what the chamber is going to look like. So we are thrilled that we already had started with them a few months ago. And so Kathy is the Executive Director of Intuitive Strategies. She's the CEO and a premier hiring and talent management firm that specializes in the aviation, technology, legal, and healthcare industries. As a sought-after expert in the world of people and profits, Kathy is known as a co-creator of the talent management system. She is a voice and a role model for CEOs and businesses to build innovative top talent. In her 25-year career, Kathy has hired over 1,000 people and has been championing the development of high-performance teams to help companies soar. Kathy is a member of WBENC, SHRM, and is a mentor for the We Venture Ignite program. So really such an amazing woman with all this skill that's, we're very much looking forward to hearing how we can mobilize our businesses for impact going through this pandemic. So I will turn this over to Kathy, and I know she has a slide, so I think Carolina is getting this organized. And if you're having issues, once again, let me give you my phone number so you can text me while this is going on. So 321-223-9525 in case you're having any trouble. And now we'll turn this over to Kathy.
Thank you, Nancy. That was wonderful. And I don't know, do you want me to take over the screen and go ahead and do my PowerPoint? Would that be easier? Or
if you'd like to, yeah, I think Carolina has it where you can just click on the slide and it'll move to the next one. So I think now that you're co-host. Oh, hold on, let
me get this up.
Is that correct, Carolina?
Perfect.
Yes, perfect. Okay.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you all for inviting me to be here today. It's funny because a lot of what I've been doing most recently is I have been working, you know, being in HR, of course, with unemployment being down to less than 3%, I was doing a lot of the hiring and attraction pieces. And what's happened is the moment this struck, I've been spending a lot of time with my clients talking about a lot of compliance issues. So my pivot didn't come softly. It came very, very immediate. And right now, the way I'm sharing my screen, I cannot see you guys. So if there's anyone that would like to make a comment, or if anyone has any questions, please just kind of let me know as I'm talking, because as I said, right now, I can't absolutely see you. Okay? Sound good,
Okay, what I
everyone?
can do is I'll check the chat room, and if there's any, then yeah, I can reach out. So we'll try not to interrupt you though until the end.
Okay, no problem, because I'm not seeing the chat either. I don't know why this is coming up this way, but we'll get.
Kathy, if it helps, I believe at the top there's a view options and you can do split side-by-side mode.
Oh, let me try to find that. Hold on one second.
And then you can, there's a bar between the two once it sets it up side by side where you can make us smaller and make your presentation larger, and you can kind of maneuver the screen. Same for anyone else who's on here. At the top, there's usually next to, it says you're viewing, or wherever it says whose view or whose screen you're viewing, there's a view options and a side-by-side mode if you click on the options.
Perfect. Okay. So I intentionally called this how to mobilize your business, because as I'm talking to people, as we're in this space of the pandemic, right, coming so fast, I think it took all of us by storm, and we're all a little jolted. So it took a while. I know for me, for the first couple of weeks, I wake up in the morning going, I have to be dreaming this, right? Like, this isn't real. And then the numbness of that kind of went away. So the word mobilize, I will be talking about a lot today, because it's important that whatever we do it with planned action. So you will hear me say mobilize quite a bit. So what are some of the things that shifted in your business? And Nancy, if they would write something in the chat, and if you don't mind helping me out, that would be great in sharing some of that. This is a teamwork kind of thing. I know for me, as I said at the beginning, you know, I was doing a lot of HR, and now all of a sudden I'm doing a lot of compliance. And a lot of my next venture will be, how do we get people back to work? People are afraid. What do we do with that? So what are some of the things you're seeing, Nancy?
Hold on. Okay, there we go. Right now it's telling me I'm muted. I can no longer go out into the community as a marketer. So, and they went more virtual as well as connecting via phone. So that's how some have been handling it. But I think, yeah, for those that are trying to market when normally they were going into businesses or to events or, you know, then how do they make that pivot to still reach their market?
Right. That's so very true. And you know, when we're in marketing, it's so about being connected, right? Like being there in that moment. So it's important to know that the success of your business is all about being able to mobilize, being able to be in action, to be in the space of implementing something, of looking at all of your scenarios, all the possibilities of what you have for your own business or what your businesses have, how you can be a part of that to help them make a shift and make a pivot. And first, it's being very focused, looking at everything you have, knowing where you are today and knowing where you need to go. And going there, by the way, may not be forever. You may only be going there for what, 2 months? Maybe we're talking 6 months, and we can go back to doing the things that we used to do. But for right now in this moment, it's being really clear where we are, who we have, who our wonderful partners are, like the chamber, right? What all of that looks like, and what do we need to do right now to make a difference for people. So when we talk about the things that we're going to be talking about today, we'll talk a little bit about your value proposition. We've all heard about that. your value networks, your target customers, how to do strategy changes, and mobilization. So the real deal is we're all on this together. And we know that. And there are some businesses, a very few, that are going to work every day. They are busier than ever, just trying to do what they typically do. There's some businesses that are learning how to work completely different remotely. And the truth is, I do think that when some of this is said and done, there'll be some businesses that choose to not have an office space anymore. So there's all of these shifts and moves going on. And the real deal is we are still in business to be connected to people. People do business with people. So it's important that we're all home, we're all working remotely, we can't go out and do our normal thing. And how do we replace that? How do we stay connected? That's why I loved what you said, Nancy, about, you know, people of the chamber have been calling other chamber members just to say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? Because everyone so needs that right now. We need to stay connected, even though we may not be able to be there face to face. This whole connection piece, this whole mobilization piece comes with us being connected. And you'll hear me talk about really doing a lot of brainstorming. So looking at the past and into the future, there's 3 basic elements that we will be talking about today. One is your value proposition. You hear about this all the time. What value do you deliver with your product or service? So what value do you give to your clients and customers? Number 2 is, what are your networks? So this comes down to how you deliver your product or service, how you monetize it, who are the vendors you work with, what are some of the partners you may choose, like the chamber, to work with. So that's the second set that we'll dive deeper in. And then the third is your customers, right? Who receives and benefits from what you provide? Now, your customers, as you're looking at a pivot, may even change slightly or significantly. We just don't know where we are right now. So we'll be looking at these 3 areas: the value proposition, the network, the value networks, as well as the target customers. Does anyone have any questions or any thoughts or anything they'd like to add at this point? Perfect. I remember when I was first starting out, I had worked corporate most of my life. I was a corporate HR director. And I remember when I was starting out, one of my coaches at the time said to me, sell it before you build it. And I thought, what? How am I going to sell something before I build it, right? Like for me at that point in time, being so new to this whole thing, it even felt sort of like out of integrity. And I think a lot of things has changed with that for me. Of course, my confidence, my experience now as an entrepreneur, all of these type of things, I've grown into absolutely understanding what this quote means. And an entrepreneur is someone who jumps off a cliff and builds the plane on the way down, because that's what we need to be able to do. We need to be very flexible and pliable and be able to look at things from many different ways. So we'll be talking about that a little bit further right now. So when
just one question, and I don't know if you'll be getting to it further on.
Sure. Do you want to do it now?
Says,
I'm good right now. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think traditional media have become more effective during this time?
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Yeah. I think that for people that only choose to look at one thing, it can be harmful to us as a country and as a nation. But I think with traditional media, if we're willing and open to look at all aspects of it and to be with what, after looking at all the aspects of it, to be able to look at things and say, yeah, this seems right. Like I've done my research, because I do follow like the COVID numbers and what's happening in Brevard and what's happening in the state of Florida. Like these are things I love, and I go to the sources that can tell me that. But I do believe that traditional media right now is helping, as long as people stay open-minded and do their own research. So I know that's kind of a dance around that, and it's a hard question to answer. So, but value proposition. So when I talk about value proposition, these are all the categories where you can start to look at what you have right now or where your company is right now and say, how can we do it differently, right? So fulfilling unmet needs. We see this all the time. How many companies quickly switch to making hand sanitizer? How many people on Etsy, right, started making masks immediately? It's like there was a need there, and people started to drop right into that. So my question for you and your business is, what needs might be out there right now that you could meet that you were not meeting before? So for me, I was focusing on attraction and hiring, attraction, hiring, attraction, and hiring, right? Immediately, my clients needed compliance. So I started doing the research on the grants, the PPPs, all of that type of thing, so that I could be their expert. And at that point in time, I wasn't getting paid for it, because they were in such a shutdown and such a meltdown that someone had to be there for them. And now the great thing is I am their expert in that area. So now they're calling and saying, hey, Kathy, I do need a handbook. I need to know how to handle this as the team comes back to work. So even though in that moment in time, maybe I didn't get paid, I too was scrambling, trying to figure out all the craziness of what was going on, but I turned into an expert for them. So I asked, how can you do that in your business? Oh, I love that. ServPro is doing COVID-19 cleaning and disinfecting. See, love that. Great idea. Great idea. And people are going to need that more than ever now in their businesses. So create complete solutions. When I say that, sometimes as business owners, we've only done a partial solution, right? So with the knowledge and skills that I have, I was an HR director. I've done everything in HR. I've done team building, I've done compliance, I've opened a gym, I've opened up the OSHA training facility. I've done a lot. But because my clients and customers in a 3% unemployment rate only wanted me to do attraction and hiring, I got lazy and fell into that, right? But now it comes down to me saying, what else is it that I can do? So it's an interesting facet in that one of my clients has always done books. She's been a person that has produced audio books. And one of the things that she's noticed is that people now want to create podcasts quickly. She's had her own podcast now for a long time. She's very good at it. She's got that audiobook voice, right? So she has pivoted her business from audiobooks to teaching people how to host their own podcasts and done for you in podcasts. And it's working out wonderfully for her. So what are you doing a little bit of that maybe you could take it and expand it to be bigger? And guys, if you do have a question, I have the chat box in front of me now, so feel free to make comments or write in the chat if you'd like. And what are some of your existing talents? So, as people, there's just things that we do every day. If it's, we have our expertise that we're certainly good at. But what are some of your other talents that you have that maybe you're overlooking? What are some qualities? I mean, are you a really good cook? Do you enjoy shopping for other people? Are you in a place where you could support others in with your ability to, well, like my friend Tina, like my client Tina, right? She's got this great, amazing voice. So now she switched to podcasts. So it's kind of like, what is a hidden talent that you have that you might be pulling out right now to use and putting it back away when things go a little bit more back to normal. Break down your products and services differently. So when I say that, I have a client and he's been a teacher his whole career, and he's moved into more of a leadership role in his position within the school system. So I had been working with him for quite some time in regard to leadership, coaching, ways that he can work with the kids closer. So that's what we've been doing together for probably the last year and a half now. And one of the things that he's done is when all of the children now needed to stay at home, parents are going out of their minds because they don't know how to homeschool. They don't have the sources to be able to do that. He has been doing his own homeschooling, right, with groups of kids on Zoom to help those families. And it's been really interesting in that it's something that he's learning to enjoy so much. So that's kind of a cool thing of being able to take and shift that pivot. And something that's really important to know is, what do your customers really love about you? Because with my clients, we've gotten to know each other in a very personal way, right? I have relationships with them. So sometimes if they're even having a problem with one of their customers, right, they may call me because they know I'm an advocate for them. Because they know that, you know, I love people. I love working with people. I enjoy people. I, you know, understand emotional intelligence. So, you know, what do your customers love about you? And the way you can sort that out in your mind is you can look at one of your customers that you've had a seriously great win with. And even if you're working for a business, what customer or client can you think of that you just know your organization has just done such a great job with? And now, how did you move through that process? Like, what were your steps? What did that physically look like? What did your customer really love about that? And by the way, this is something, be it good times or bad times, pivoting, not pivoting, you know, needing to mobilize. This information is just valuable information because it allows you to be able to talk in a way that you're talking physically to those customers. And what are your raw skills? I mean, what are skills that you haven't really thought about that you are, that you are physically capable of doing? When I say raw skills, these are the skills that, you know, you would almost in your mind think, man, I'm not good at that. But, you know, can your neighbor use some support in like fixing? So I'm sharing this because, so neighbor next door has a boat. Husband used to really work on boats a lot. Mark didn't want to take it to where he needed to take it. So my husband, Larry, went over there to just support him and help them out. I consider that a raw skill because he hasn't done it in a while. And it's still a skill set he has. So just kind of think about all those things when it comes to the value that you are for another person that needs something. Are there any thoughts or questions there? Okay. So your value network. Find new ways to deliver your value. And when we talk about this, the things that come to mind for us, right, are people today that we're now on Zoom together. That's how the chamber is finding this value. Or food delivery service, or the people in the stores, right, that are shopping for us. All of those great things. Yeah, that's right. A friend of mine offered to shop for those who were unable to go out to the grocery store. Yeah. You know, those things, not only does it matter as far as us having kind of these raw skills that we never thought we would do, or expanding the skills that we have, but it also is a calling for us for our community. And don't misunderstand, I'm not saying that, you know, we need to do everything for free. That's not what I'm getting at. But what I am getting at is, in order to give value to people, there are some things you give away for free. I mean, you know, could you imagine with my clients when they were going into meltdown and trying to figure out a PPP loan, me all of a sudden saying, you know, hey, Charles, by the way, I'm going to bill you, you know, for this. I can't do that. But again, the end result for me is there's more money coming my way at some point because of it. So since the gym closed, my yoga instructor and I, oh, I love that. My yoga instructor and I started beach yoga. You're a block away. Oh, 15 people. Oh, I love, see, yeah, taking donations, love donations. How much can you afford? Because we all really are here to help everyone out. And we do want to know that, you know, the money is still being circulated, especially in our communities. So yeah, those are great ideas. So when I talk about your value network, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, who is the network of people you know that can sort of support you in this? So you can shift. There's ways you can shift. You can try to do things faster. You can try to do them better. You can try to, you know, look at less expensive supply chains. So for me, what I've done is, after some of my speaking, because I'm now speaking like this, right? How weird. But after some of my speaking engagements, I have a very high value at the end that I offer people that typically I charge $1,500 for. But in this kind of environment, I'm charging $297, right? And I'm so thankful for that. And I'm so thankful that I'm still moving my business along and getting to know these people. So I'm also giving different value bonuses, right? And so it would be something like, I can't think of the value bonus that I added. Oh, yeah, I can. So this was all about creating relevant job descriptions and job postings. So as a bonus, what I did was I gave them additional interview questions that they could ask. So those are the different types of things that you can do. I know Deb and I are good friends, and she's on this call right now. And it comes down to, maybe there's a way when you're working for a recruiting service, right? That yes, they can start to look at what industries are still hiring. For instance, IT, engineering, all of those industries are still hiring. So taking a good, healthy look at those industries that are still super busy and are still hiring, but is there a way that someone else on the other side of that could start talking to people that are not employed? Some of the things that I've done in the past as well is looking at someone's resume and saying, let's make this more accomplished-based resume than what you do, right? Or being on Zoom one-on-one and teaching someone how to go through the interview process. I mean, maybe that's one more added value that could be given at that point in time. We have been doing sanitizing for one of the largest companies in Melbourne. Oh, nice. We have given more, yeah, that's just it. We have given more than 50% off the cleanings. Yeah, it's important. It's important. But it's serving you. It's serving you, and it's serving the people that are asking for your support. So also connecting through partners. Where you are right now with this chamber, you are connecting through partners, as well as, what about your vendors? What about clients? Is there a client that you could physically talk to that there may be some connection in there as well? What about employees? You know, so often when we go through places like this, we forget to talk to the team. The team's the one, they're out there every day. They know what this is. Repurposing old material. For me, I have a lot of old blogs laying around. I've done like 50 podcasts. What could I dig into, right, that I would consider dusty and blow off? I've got some old webinars that I'm probably going to be bringing back to life. But what are some of those old things that we just kind of have hanging around? And then monetize differently. If they can't pay in a lump sum, how can you break it up? If they need a discount, how can you do that? How can we work together to get through this? And then target your customers. This comes down to finding new clients. Again, what industry? What industry could you make a difference with? Or what industry maybe could you start focusing on? What does that look like? Going into talking to new people. Again, part of this whole being mobile is being in action. It's about making connections. Cool thing I've seen lately is there are more people active on social media. LinkedIn. I've had more conversations on LinkedIn now that I've had in a very long time. What current clients do you have, your existing clients, that maybe you can make them another offer to, an offer that would look different? What could that look like? And also, what about collaborating with really not going it alone? What about sitting down and brainstorming with people that know you? And again, whether this be partners, whether this be the chamber, whether this be other groups that you're affiliated with, whether it's friends of yours that you get together with that are in the same industry and you create a mastermind together, really be in collaboration. So as you're going through this process, look at your current business model that you have now and ask yourself those 3 questions, right? And the 3 questions are, what value do you deliver with your product or service? How do you deliver and monetize that? And who receives the benefits? So who's your customer? Those are the 3. As I said, brainstorm. Talk to your friends. Talk to your customers. Talk to employees and colleagues that you work with. Talk to people in the chamber. Really make those connections and have them help you come up with ideas. You know, how many Zoom parties are out there now? Plan a Zoom party and ask these people that you feel closest to come in and just sit and have them help you look at how you can continue to pivot more. And you're going to get some crazy ideas. You're going to walk away from there saying, oh my gosh, but what are your top 3 and what's your number 1? Because the number 1 will always rise to the top. And the most important thing is to jump off the cliff and start to build the airplane. Really to start to sell and to start to have those conversations before you build something. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs and business owners make. It's easy to sit in front of a computer and knock out this huge product, right? But then the reality is no one wants it. So start having those conversations. I did a year-long mastermind and I actually sold it and knew I had enough people in it. And I knew the outline of it, but I did that before I physically started to build the mastermind. So sell it before you can create it, or at least try to bounce the idea off of people you know that may be interested in buying it. And then the most important, start. Just start. Mobilize, be in action, plan to do the next right thing first. It's really important. You know, we're in a time right now where it's kind of easy to stay at home, we buy our computers, stay in fear. But we all know that just taking that first step breaks us out of that and puts us in a really good place. So that's all I have for you. I deeply appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. And please, if there's anything that you need from me, I'm more than happy to answer any questions you guys have. I probably should have left that last screen up there a little bit longer, but if you would like to,
we'll make sure we put that on the feed so that people can get, yes, your email address and contact information. So we'll make sure that we get that out to everybody. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Kathy. That was wonderful. I know that there's so much to cover and we could have gone on for another hour or more. But thank you for giving us some ideas and people thinking outside the box. I think that's one of the things is, you know, what can we do that may be different than what we've always done, but makes sense at this time. So, okay, well, so almost to wrap up, we have, I'm not sure if Carolina, I think she's pulling up the slides from our original presentation, just so that you guys can follow along here. So from current, oh, look at that. She is just awesome. Okay, we'll move one more. So thank you, Kathy. We have a parting gift at this time, but right now we'll just give the thank you wave. And it should be moving across to the next one. Oh, we get a hand clap from Beverly. Oh, look at you guys. You guys are so cute.
Oh, thank you, guys.
I just do it myself, but they actually have all their little emojis on there, so that's really cool. All right, it is not moving forward. I don't know. Anyway, so coming up, there we go. Okay, so we have Florida Tech. So they are actually going back in the fall from what I've gathered. So they are actually taking acceptance for their dorm rooms now. And as far as I know, they are going to be back in school. Community Credit Union is the next one. And if you had trouble with getting any of the loans that were available, I'm not sure how much money is left out there. So what was said from the very beginning is to reach out to your local banker. Community Credit Union has always been there for the small business community, and they may still have money to loan. So if there's any businesses that are interested, before you're trying for those, you know, some of those loans and grants that most were very difficult to get, and most of the small businesses unfortunately were kicked out of the system. They are here locally to really help you, and they know the SBA funding really well. So I would reach out to them. We also have some upcoming events and our chamber chats. So they are normally on Zoom at 2 o'clock unless we change otherwise. Our next really exciting one is May the 19th. So Health First is coming on. So if you're looking for guidelines for your business to reopen safely, the doctor is coming on, and it's going to be really all Q&A. I think he'll say a few things, but if you have any kind of questions whatsoever, he's going to be there to answer any questions you may have. They did this before to the general public, but I think this is going to be a really interesting one as we move along. And on the 18th, I think, is when a lot of businesses are in the phase 2 that are able to open. So check that out. On the 21st, we have Morse Com, and they're talking about virtualizing your business. So if you do want to get more online, they can really help you with going virtual. We also have our Brevard Business Professionals. So we will have the networking in the rooms like we did on this one. Shannon's great at that. So we will have that. Once again, early morning, that's our 8 a.m. one. We haven't changed the time on that because we want you guys to still keep in the same routine. So that'll be from 8 to 9:30. May 28th, we do have one. I haven't got confirmation yet on who the speaker is. And then on the 29th, we will go over our membership optimization again. So we won't go into as much detail as we did last time, but if you want to have your computer, if you've never filled out your profile, you can go through step by step with Carolina. So that's going to be a really important one. We also have a new series that's going to come out. And the first one's going to be June the 4th. And Glenn Shepard is a trainer that works a lot with chambers. And so this is going to be, we're going to try a paid series. We're trying to keep it very inexpensive. And his is on dealing with difficult people. I think we all have had people in our lives, whether it's, you know, it might be a coworker, it might be a family member, it could be friends. You know, I've gone through courses before. I had a boss that was just a nightmare, that threw things at customers and stuff. But you know, I love my job, so trying to deal with him was very interesting. But I think that this will be a really great training. So that's going to be an early morning one, though. That's June the 10th. We're going to start at 9:45 just to kind of talk about, you know, just do the housekeeping part of it. And he's going to do the training from 10 to 10:45. So a very in-depth, I've taken it and it's fabulous, great information. We still have the business director and community guide. So we are coming along with that one. And right now it's going to be in the digital version first, and then we'll print that because right now, even getting printers to do things and send them out, it's just crazy. So we want to make sure that, you know, we're going to get that, you know, finished for everybody. We still have our digital sign, and now as traffic is moving along US 1, it really is picked up again. We still have our special. So if you want to do 6 weeks, it's $200. So that's kind of an amazing price because normally it's $100 a week. So if you're wanting to get your logo out there, maybe your new hours, anything like that, you're definitely able to do that. So that's a cool one on the digital sign. We also have our sponsorship opportunities. So if you want to be on Chamber Chat, so you can come or sponsor something like the Luncheon or the BVP, Provide Business Professionals. If you're a sponsor, you come on to start with and are able to talk about your company before we get going. So it's kind of great exposure because normally we live stream. So I think our last one with Lisa Morel, there were about 1,400 people that were on that, that viewed that webinar. So really great exposure. Then we do e-blasts and Facebook posts. So there's lots of opportunities for you to, I think Cindy was asking about whether marketing, you know, if you're seeing traditional marketing working. And I know with Spotlight Magazine and the magazines, you know, I'm here now, I'm actually reading them more than I used to. I'm catching up on older ones, but I still enjoy those. And I think sometimes with social media, if there's so much, it's hard to get through the noise. So the traditional media is really helping out. We also have our Member Plus app. So I really hope you guys have downloaded it by now. It should look like on your thing, it's the Member Plus. So it's like that, it comes up and you can reach any other member then. So it gives you the community, you can put in deals. So Andrea, if you have your member to member deals, you can put that in there, hot deals. If you have an event going on, you can put that in there. You could do it all from your phone now. It's so easy. So download the app. It's Member Plus, and that way you can sign up for everything easily, and you don't have to kind of keep going to websites and stuff like that. It's all right there on your phone. The playbook for reopening your business. This is the guide that I was saying that we had done it for the state of Florida. I got it from Tuscaloosa, but I changed all the contact information for all the Florida info. And it really is a step-by-step detailed guide for almost every type of industry of how to be safe and reopen. So it's on our Facebook page, it's on our website. Check it out if you are in that business where you have to reopen and you need to know how to do that safely. And then, you know, we're on everything. So we are Facebook queens, and Carolina keeps sending the information out. We're on LinkedIn. We send out our weekly newsletter. So we are here for you. Seriously, all the phones have been transferred to my cell phone. So if you call the chamber, you will get me. We are answering everything from somebody stole my garbage cans, what do I do? To, you know, they're looking for Section 8 housing and transformers blown, and I've gotten all kinds of stuff. But I think that's really what's neat about the chamber, is that the community thinks of the chamber for all kinds of assistance. And, you know, we want to definitely just be here for you. So don't hesitate to reach out or email. My email is easy but long. It's nancy@greaterpalmbaychamber.com. If you're looking to reach Carolina, we're all the same. So Carolina@greaterpalmbaychamber.com. There's Pat at greaterpalmbaychamber.com, Cindy at greaterpalmbaychamber.com. So we're all consistent there. So feel free to reach out to us. We are here for you. I thank you all for joining us today. This was our first time with our different networking in the room. So I hope that next time it'll be a little smoother, but I want to thank Kathy again. She was just fabulous. It was great information. I took photos of the screen so that I could make sure that, you know, the chamber, we were thinking about some of these things as we are pivoting. Just check the calendar, because Carolina has everything out there for the end of May that we're in, and we're putting June's together. So we're trying to keep our regular time schedules, and if there's anything though you want that we're not providing, let us know, because we want to make sure that we are bringing information that's relevant to you. We don't want you to waste your time. We want you to feel like you're getting your questions answered. So, and like I said, join us though next week. I think the Health First one will be very, very interesting with Dr. Laird. So thank you all for joining. Have a great day, and I'm sure I'll see you on another Zoom call soon. So until we meet again, take care and be safe, everyone. Social distance, wear your mask. It's all good. So thank you.